All right, we got the code. We're live. We're good.
Wow.
Yeah, Doom Nation. We're sorry about the delay, but we are live.
Yes.
That was much better. That was the muting of the mic was a great tool, and I'm glad I didn't see what I thought I was going to see, where Trump was just going to start laying something down, and they were going to mute his mic. It was pretty even, and it kept the two of them like in line.
The debate in general this time was an actual debate. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Last time you couldn't even call it a debate. But like you said, I agree with you. The using the microphone muting, and you were skeptical about using the microphone muting because Captain Conspiracy Theory here, he thought that anytime Trump was going to bring up the Hunter Biden stuff or whatever, that they'd just mute him.
New York Post is still suspended on Twitter. It's been a week now. It's been one full week, and the New York Post, one of the biggest newspapers out there, is suspended on Twitter for running a negative story against Joe Biden. So I was a little skeptical.
Yeah, I mean, I hear your skeptical. So I'm just trying to bring up the live feed here.
There we go.
All right. Can you hear us, by the way? Yeah, you can hear us through the Instagram. I'm just making sure because boy, we had a couple of technical difficulties trying to get this fucking thing started for no reason.
The program updated.
We have two apps that we use for this: an app for the webcam and an app to now simulcast this through Instagram Live. And both needed to be updated as soon as we had to go live.
Yep.
The programs were open the entire time debate was going on. I was taking notes on the computer here. But for no reason, all of a sudden, both of them need to be updated. So all right. So let's get into the meat and potatoes here.
Dive right in.
Or do you want to give it our usual shout outs because this is going to be a normal episode.
Well, Doom Nation, thank you for joining us. It's Skaggs and the Captain here in the Captain's quarters as always. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. The subscribe button's right there below us. We love to hear from you guys, so always make sure to reach out to us and give us your opinions and some comments. We love to listen to you guys. Nice. We got more technical difficulties.
No, you want to join? Yeah, because then it will. No, but if you join, then you'll be in the thing. No, just leave it as
guys, we got.
I know
the camera roll.
Sorry, yeah, it's a podcast.
So anyway,
this is what a live production looks like. Sorry, Cap, I missed. Were you giving the opening introduction?
Yeah. The regular subscribe. You guys are smart enough to figure that out for yourselves. Let's get into it because if anybody is listening, they're interested in what's going on with the debate and what we think about it, which is even crazier than the actual debate going on.
What did I say in the in all those promos I did? Non-expert analysis.
Yeah, definitely non-expert.
Right now, CNN, Fox, MSNBC, CNBC, whoever the fuck, they're all there. All those pundits.
If I had to guess, CNN said Biden won the debate and Fox said Trump won the debate.
It's predictable, I sat here, I know you like Trump and I don't like Trump, but I sat here and tried to take notes and we're going to try and give an unbiased opinion of who I thought won and what I thought about everything. So let's start off with you took some notes, right?
Yeah. You want to start off with the first question or who do you think won?
No, we'll save that.
Okay.
Also,
Our final question.
Also, I think going back through this entire thing will help us determine better who won. So the first segment was about COVID, of course.
Where they just dragged it out for way too long.
And I'll be honest with you, the segments here were almost the exact same as the first debate. There was nothing different about it.
This was the actual debate. Yeah. The first one was just a trial.
I guess it was right? They were trying to replace the first debate. So the first question was, how would you lead the country during the next stage of COVID, I guess, as you become president for the next term? And you want me to go ahead with what I wrote here first, or you want to?
Yeah, I mean, first? Trump made a very important, very important point. Yeah, that a lot of the media never brings up, and you never see it. It's that since this COVID has started, yes, there are still deaths. Joe Biden said there's 1,000 new deaths a day. I don't know how accurate that number is. It's funny because they were in Tennessee and the mayor got caught lying about the numbers.
Hey Google, can you look up how many deaths per day are currently happening for COVID in the entire country? Not in the world, just the country.
But Trump said the mortality rate is down, and that's the truth. It has been down for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And then also he brought up the 99% survival rate among young people, we are shutting down. I know, even if it's 100 deaths a day, not even 1,000, I understand that is too many deaths per day. And, over here in New York right now, they are shutting, they're locking down certain zip codes that are having spikes, which I could agree with a little bit instead of the whole state. But we are still tanking an economy and tanking a country because Trump said without closing everything down, we can't have a country. So it's important to understand we are doing all this over a 99% survival rate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The flu kills. The flu has a 99% survival rate.
Yeah.
Probably more, but.
Well, I agree. You, like Trump, didn't answer the question.
Well, true. I'm going off of what they were talking about. Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Trump did not answer the question.
But the question was, how would you lead the? All right. So there's that was what today. There's 1,076 new deaths. So okay. So they were right.
Yeah, close to it. Yeah.
About 1,000 deaths a day. If you can see how many people die of the flu per day. The regular flu, if that's even a thing. So Trump didn't answer the question again, which the question was, how would you lead the country during the next stage of COVID, being your next term? He just straight up didn't answer the question. But a couple other things I'll add to what you said. He said that the Remdesivir, I don't even know how the fuck to say that, was just approved. That was just approved by the FDA. That was a drug that he was given, which he was talking about, therapeutic, and helped him get better. The FDA approved it as working 100% basically for treatment for coronavirus. Not a cure, but it's treatment that will help you survive. For Biden's answer, he more directly answered the question. He said that he would promote wearing masks, and that if everyone wore masks, it'd save 100,000 lives. He said that Trump has no plan, and that Biden he would encourage investing in rapid testing and give guidance on how to open schools safely, businesses safely, and give them the resources to do so.
But we have plenty of PPE. We have resources. It's not like we don't have resources. And also, this was something that, somebody kind of cleared up before. But, so Biden's pushing this. If we just wear masks, we'll save 100,000 lives. I work in Connecticut. I live in New York. Maybe it's just the area I'm in. 99.999% of people I see when we're in stores wear masks. I don't wear a mask when I'm driving in a car or when I'm sitting down here alone or anything like that. But when are we going to admit that people are wearing masks though? It almost sounds like nobody's like it's a real problem that nobody's wearing masks. And maybe just because I'm not in, I don't know, I'm just going to call out states, Arizona or Pennsylvania or some other state. Maybe they're not wearing them there. Florida, you know what I mean? But I see everyone in masks. Like, when are we going to admit that people are wearing masks and it's still an issue?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we can't say personally what's going on in, like you're saying, Arizona or something. Yeah. But around here, people are wearing the mask. And little spikes happen here or there, little outbreaks happen. But, to the extent that they make it out to be, it's just, I don't know, it's just not warranted. Biden said something about how Americans don't panic. Do you remember that?
Yes. So it was in response to, so Trump didn't want to so first off, everybody's still, I'm not even going to get into it because we know I hate this, that, they just blame COVID on Trump and that he didn't do anything sooner, but there's proof that he did it before everybody wanted to. And so now Joe Biden brought up this point that, oh, you didn't do anything in January. First off, you expect this man who you hate everything he does, while he was being impeached, while Nancy Pelosi was holding the articles of impeachment, you wanted him to shut down the country as well. That's a bit that looks like a bit of a mountain for a man to get over. I can't imagine that they were going to allow him to do that.
Yeah, in the middle of a political battle like that.
So Trump made a statement that in January, when he was learning originally about COVID from China, whether they were telling us the truth or not, was he didn't want to make Americans panic. And as a president, you have to decide, obviously, what type of info and how you're going to give this info out, because you can cause mass panic. Mm-hmm. And Biden just was like, Americans don't panic. We panic all the time. Trump killed a terrorist who wanted to attack America, and we panicked.
Yeah, people thought it was going to be World War III. Let me just point out that people panicked when they found out about coronavirus and there was a toilet paper shortage.
Yes.
Because people thought they'd have no means to wipe their ass.
Yes.
And that, for some reason, that was the primary thing on people's minds. Wiping their ass.
Ooh, did the Giants just get a TD? Yes, they did.
Nice. Yeah, we're watching the Giants game
G-Nation.
in the background.
Yeah, so people's first survival instincts was, how am I going to clean my hiney? Not how am I going to get food, not how am I going to stay warm during the winter. It's how am I going to clean my hiney?
I want to bring up what you said about the January travel ban, because Trump made the point, like you're saying, Biden called him xenophobic for the initial travel ban, but now he says that Trump didn't do enough.
Yeah.
And that, and then he said the same thing about Nancy Pelosi, that she was dancing in the streets in Chinatown saying, come eat and do this and do that.
And good old Bill de Blasio did the same thing, you dummy.
When Biden responded to that, to Trump's point, he says he is xenophobic, but not because he shut down travel, but because, and he never said anything. He just rambled off into some other.
That was a Democratic talking point. Trump's a racist.
I was mind fucked. I looked at you. I'm like, did he finish his sentence? He's talking about something else now. I thought maybe I missed it.
It's just to push that agenda that he's a racist, and it's pretty funny too, because like Trump gets to a point where we'll go on when they start talking about race, where he's like, I become very friendly with these people. They love me. It's just pretty funny. And then he's like, I can't see the crowd. It's so dark out there. Fucking.
I thought in this coronavirus segment, Trump won this one, right? Because Biden's comments and retorts were more the same. This guy's bad and it's his fault about everything.
And also, they jumped on Trump and they should jump on Trump for this. You can't just. Look, this has been an irreversible argument now with, if Trump comes out with a vaccine, the left isn't going to take it. If Biden comes out with a vaccine, the right's not going to take it. Now we're fucked. We can't go back from this fight. And Trump said, in a few weeks, Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer and all these other companies. And he did answer that question directly. She's like, well, okay, so who's going to be the closest to, and he rattled off a bunch of names, which is fine. So now if you're interested, you go and you investigate that. That's what you're supposed to do. But to say it's going to come out in a few weeks, Joe Biden did make a good point where it's like, it's going to be gone by Easter, the summer, this, that, and it hasn't. But now we're in this battle for the vaccine that, like, we can't trust it no matter what.
Here's the thing. If Joe Biden becomes president, who's going to be the companies working on the vaccine? Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, etc. Right.
So when
it's not like Donald J. Trump is in a laboratory, right? And he's making a vaccine for coronavirus. It's the companies, right? And even if Trump loses and Biden becomes a president, it's the same people, the same scientists that work for Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah, you're right.
And Pfizer. So without a doubt, they're playing politics over a vaccine. And, I'm not a fucking scientist, so I don't know how that shit works. But they don't want, if it is possible that the vaccine is ready now and it's within Trump's term, they just don't want him to get that win. So they don't really, that leads me to believe that they don't really give that much of a fuck about the actual danger of coronavirus. It's just, from both sides, it's politics. It's, I'm going to use this part against you, and you're going to use this part against me, and we're just going to go to battle over it, and that's it. The actual real science and the real facts don't fucking matter in the case.
I just want you to realize something. While I was listening to you, my thumb hit the screen, and it magically deleted my whole entire notes. I had to find them and recently deleted. Okay. Without looking at my phone, my thumb magically touched the right spot to delete it all.
It's business as usual over here, buddy.
But yes, you're right. It's going to be, no matter what, it's going to be the same companies making it. It's not Biden and Trump in a lab racing against each other. It's ridiculous. One thing I did want to bring up, though, Trump wants to open up the economy. We can't have a country without a operating economy. Joe Biden, and this is bias of me because I don't want it either, but Joe Biden's in favor of more shutdowns. He is. He admitted to it. He's in favor of more shutdowns.
That was the next part of the COVID segment, the cost of shutdowns. And the moderator brought up, the cost of other negative factors like suicide, depression, things like that. What do you have to say about that? And when they asked Biden the question first, I believe, and he straight up, just like Trump on the previous question, didn't answer the question directly. He was pressed again by the moderator, actually. So the moderator was pressing Biden on certain issues. This was a way better debate.
What's her name?
I never got it. I never got it.
Google over there. But I gotta say, so in the first debate, the moderator, Chris
Wallace.
yeah,
right?
Chris Wallace, he was a pain in the ass. He really jumped down Trump's throat, and he interrupted Trump just as much as Trump interrupted Biden. Kristen Welker
Did a fantastic job.
Yes, I have to say, because a lot of people were expecting her not to ask anything about Hunter Biden, and she got in there, and she let the questions evolve as they went back and forth. She kept trying to not let Trump respond, because Trump multiple times had to be like, I have to answer this.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, I'm not going to nitpick over that, but, like, she really didn't interrupt. She did interrupt a few times as Trump was making a point, but his time was running out. And
sometimes you got to nudge them on, though, to get to the next question.
Exactly.
I think they did go a little bit over time.
Yes. And I think the mic muting worked perfectly, and I really don't have any complaints about the moderator like I do last time.
Yeah,
I didn't think Chris Wallace was out of line by going in on Trump, but when you take it back, he did add fuel to the fire. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
He did. Do you want to keep talking about COVID, or do you want to
no, I thought the COVID went way too long. So.
Yeah, it did. The next topic they covered was election interference. And the first question was, what would you do to end the threat from Iran and Russia? If anybody's not familiar with this, in the past couple of days,
yesterday,
right?
The FBI announced that Russia and Iran have been interfering in this current election with emails and videos on how to get more ballots and stuff like that, and how to cheat the mail-in ballots and stuff. And the Department of Homeland Security, who did that yesterday? The FBI, CIA?
Okay, look up Google over there. John Ratcliffe. Who the fuck is John Ratcliffe? Because Trump mentioned him. But
there is election meddling, and of course Biden went right into, well, Trump works for Russia.
Yeah, I'll say I wrote down what Biden says. What's Director of National Intelligence. Okay, so okay,
an important position.
I'll get to that. So in response to the question, what would you do to end the threat from Iran and Russia in regards to election interference? Biden said he'll make it clear to anyone who interferes that they'll pay a price.
yeah, they're gonna pay him to fucking meddle.
Says that Trump has not said a word to Putin about interference, which I agree. But then if he did say something to Putin, they'd say he's working together with him.
That's exactly what I said to you in real time.
Biden also mentioned the bounties on U.S. soldiers.
Yeah,
Trump
Trump didn't
never
answer
got
it
back
again.
to it.
Yeah.
Which I remember when he was saying, I was like, I want Trump to give an explanation as to why he never brought this up, but he didn't.
Yeah, that's something he skimmed over.
And this is where Trump says that Joe got $3.5 million from Russia, and
from that guy's wife,
and that Trump never got any money from Russia.
Yeah.
It was a good debate, but they still went off the rails here and there.
Well, I can't complain, because that's the basis of this entire podcast, is going off the rails.
Yeah. But let's get back to what I was bringing forward. Trump said that this guy John Ratcliffe, who is what again? So the Director of National Intelligence told him that both Russia and Iran want Trump to lose because he is tougher on them.
Yep. Putin has been quoted saying, "I'd rather work with the Democrats." He wanted Hillary to win, and he wants Biden to win.
And I'll say Trump made a good point here. He said that during Biden's term as vice president with Obama, Russia took over a submarine port in Ukraine, and I remember, didn't Russia invade that other country, Georgia? That was during Obama's time. So for you, that was a good point, right? Because Biden, on one hand, is saying, I'm going to talk tough and get them to not do these things. Well, but when you were in charge, Russia literally invaded another country on your watch, And
then, so you're talking just, Biden saying he's going to be talking tough and all that stuff. I have here, shut down country. Oh, yeah, pay the price to Putin. Oh, no, that's where I stopped taking it. He had... Remember when he said he was going to make China pay, and, like, he was going to be real stern with them, and that they have to agree with, like, everything he said? Like, you're not giving us any substance. You're just going to say, I'm going to give you a stern talking. It's almost like bait that, like... It's almost bait that they want, like, Trump to be like, no, we're going to bomb your ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what they're looking for. That's, like, the ultimate Trump answer for them.
I'll put it this way. The same way when they talk about healthcare, how Trump says, "Oh, we're going to do something great, bigger and better than Obamacare, and we're going to take care of it." It's the same shit in reverse.
Yep.
Biden is saying, when it comes to China, we're going to talk tough, and we're going to get them to play by our rules and get them to, do this and do that. You're both selling us a bag of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
it's funny too, because like, if like they would just work together, like maybe we could have good healthcare and maybe we could have a good military presence and not have to worry about China. You know what I'm saying? Like Trump might be the guy to like force China to obey us,
right?
Whereas Biden might be the guy to get us the healthcare we need.
I'll counter that. Trump might be the guy to, get China to play by the rules, while Bernie Sanders might be the guy to figure out the healthcare.
Well, I don't have Bernie Sanders is not my option.
I know. I'm just saying. Yeah, it's a good point. Not everybody's strong suit is
exactly
one issue or one field.
And that's why you get like, those Trump supporters that CNN always warn you about that love Trump because he's the type of person, whether he's a madman or not, like, you're not going to war against him. There's a reason he hasn't had a new war.
There's, you could take some positives to having a lunatic in charge.
Fear,
he's intimidating.
Fear speaks volumes.
Why, maybe, that could be one of the reasons why Kim Jong-un was willing to come to the table. And he's like, this guy's fucking nuts.
They brought up North Korea, and I really thought...
Yeah, we had a lot of laughs during that segment.
I got to say... Yes, I'm Republican, and yes, I lean towards Trump on this, but you even made the point, you're like, all right, but we don't have a war, so I don't care about the semantics. Like, Joe Biden had such a piss-poor comeback to this stance. Like, it's a very poor stance on a national threat we have.
Right.
Here is a country ran by a dictator that can't truly be trusted, that has huge nuclear power, and Joe Biden's not going to go to the table unless you succumb to every American demand we have, where Trump's like, let's just get to the table and see where we go.
Right.
There's no war. Obama told Trump that there's going to be a war with them. That's Trump's words, not mine.
Yes.
I don't know how true that is. I'm sure Obama will deny it, but there's no war, and we made it to the table with them. That is light years away from the Joe Biden plan.
Yeah, I agree. Joe Biden's response to that was that we had a great relationship with Hitler before he invaded Europe. All right, yeah, true, but
and then we joined the war against him.
But that's Hitler, and that's World War II. That's not what's happened so far. To this point, yes, there's been no war yet with North Korea. So, like I said, I don't care what the semantics are of how you get there. I just don't want a war. So what if they develop another nuclear warhead? As long as they don't use it against us.
Well, I don't want them developing new ones.
I don't either, but they haven't used it against us.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a war yet.
Yeah.
So I don't care if we're not going to... America, United States, and North Korea are never going to be best friends.
No.
Where we're running down the street holding hands. We fought a fucking war against each other, and a lot of people died. And those people there are brainwashed.
Yep.
They're never going to like Americans, ever. It's going to take generations of them... like a different approach.
Weeding that out,
for them to see us differently.
Yeah.
That's not going to ever happen.
And for Joe Biden to not even want to come to the table.
Yeah, that's a stupid fucking approach to have to something.
So you want to start your presidency off on a bad note with a nuclear powerhouse. Okay.
You don't make peace with your allies. You make peace with your enemies.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You have to get to the table with them. If you don't, you're never going to make any peace.
Yeah.
I mean, your alternative is just blow them the fuck up.
Yeah.
Which is our strong suit usually for the most part. It's
and that's what everybody is dying for Trump to say. Well, just bomb him.
Mm-hmm. I have an underline. I had a
go for it.
point here. Let's backtrack a little bit. They were talking about China when they were talking about China, and they brought up that Trump has a bank account in China.
Yeah.
And
hold on a second. Let's just before we go into it, we got two people watching, but
wow.
a couple of people. Yeah, I know. A couple of people had joined. Say what's up, people, the two people that are watching, so we could shout you guys out. Hi, everybody. Oh, wait. We got three? No? All right, well, we're still going.
Yeah.
So go on with Trump's bank account in China. Because this is something that, to somebody who's not thinking about it in a broad mind, this is going to appear really bad. Mm-hmm. But when you open your mind and, discuss the idea... It's nothing that crazy.
Let me backtrack again. This was actually when they were talking about the Hunter Biden emails and scandals, and the two of them were going back and forth.
And Biden just denies
basically
everything.
About who's more corrupt. Yes.
Yeah.
They actually brought it up. The moderator actually brought up the Hunter Biden email laptop thing that's going on, and Biden flat out denied everything.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing was wrong. Nothing was immoral. He didn't do anything wrong as vice president. You know, I don't believe it.
Meanwhile, Hunter Biden's business partner just dropped the dime on the entire Biden family
And
not
because-
even 2 hours ago.
And just because I don't believe that doesn't mean I think Trump is a stand-up guy either. I'm just calling
Yes.
apples and oranges, you know? But when they got into this, they brought up that one of Biden's points was, well, you know, you have a bank account, a secret bank account in China that you had for a few years.
Yeah, 2013 to 2015, as Trump said.
Mm-hmm. What is illegal about that?
So here's what everybody forgets. For the past 47 years, Joe Biden has been making money off of foreign businesses while he was a politician. For the past 47 years, Trump has been a businessman making money all around the world. A lot of billionaires go and make investments and do business across the world. It's how you make a lot more money. You're no longer local, you're now globally.
Right.
And why wouldn't you make a deal with China if you're a billionaire trying to make more billions?
Yeah, I mean, and it's, you know, you make a deal with China. It's you're trying to expand. Maybe Trump was trying to put Trump hotels in China. You know what I mean? Before he became president or whatever.
Yeah.
You need a bank account to facilitate those financial transactions, right?
Yeah.
So I don't understand how that.
And if he didn't have those bank accounts, it would be even shadier as a corrupt businessman not to have an account in the country that you're doing it in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was a stupid point.
It's just like on the last town hall where the moderator was saying, "Oh, Trump, you're in debt, $460 million," and he was trying to say like, "Well, I used to own, now his son owns it. A lot of properties, it's a mortgage on the property. You have to pay it, just like when you own a house or a condo, you have to pay your mortgage. Just because you're a billionaire doesn't mean you don't owe money." And she tried to make it sound like, "Oh, $460 million isn't a lot of money to you." Well, when your hotels are worth almost, $800 million, no, I could sell one hotel and pay off all my debt in a heartbeat. So
it's business.
Yeah,
you know?
It's business. That's what they're trying to meddle in, where they're trying to make the water muddy for people who aren't thinking about it like that.
Yeah, a lot of it is just political rhetoric. Not a lot of this shit is not based in fact, both ways. You know.
Yes.
The stuff that might be based in fact doesn't get covered, like the Hunter Biden shit and whatever. And let's talk a little bit about that. Let's go off the rails here because
that is crazy.
Whether or not it's true, apparently it's true, right? I've read.
I'm going to say it's true because they censored it.
Yeah, that's a telltale sign usually. But my problem with the entire Hunter Biden story thing is that the New York Post broke the story, right? The New York Post seems to lean conservative, but they're an old newspaper, that has a history of reporting the news. My problem with this whole thing is that the social media, the tech companies, Facebook, Instagram, they just banned the New York Post account. They stopped people from being able to share it. They essentially censored news. Yes, the New York Post still printed it and put it out on a piece of paper, but we need to like reassess and rethink what social media is. That's the way almost everybody communicates now. Yes, the New York Post printed it on a piece of paper, but who the fuck buys the news?
Yep. That's
paper
I had to
like that?
I had to explain to my parents. They were like, "So it only happened on Twitter and Facebook." I was like, "You're right. You could still go buy the New York Post and the same story will be in there, but you have to understand now, millions and millions of people go directly to these two sources to get this type of information."
We have to treat social media as like the public square. Back in the day, the kid used to stand on the soapbox with the newspaper and try and hand out the newspaper and people would talk in the square. We're in a technological age. Social media is that square where we have these conversations. And yes, I understand Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, they invented Facebook, right? So they could profit off of it and whatnot. But it grew to something bigger than they ever imagined. In my opinion, it's a utility. The same way that electric is a utility now, and the sewer system is a utility. The sewer company can't say, "Oh, I don't agree with your political views, so I'm going to turn off your water."
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And or the same thing with the electric. I mean, maybe we'll get to that point.
Well,
if we were
I
in
mean,
China, they
yeah.
could turn off your fucking electricity. Or they wouldn't even do that. They'd just kill you. But it should be, you could say whatever you want, and then I like to think of like, if you have a bunch of cockroaches and you shine a light on them, they'll scatter, right? So if you have people saying stupid shit, good, let them say stupid shit. I will read said stupid shit and be like, this person's an idiot, or they're wrong, or I'll go do some research from my own. I don't need Facebook and Twitter to just erase things that I might read or need to learn about.
But the issue is they really overstepped their boundaries. This was a huge infringement on the First Amendment rights, and the real issue is the New York Post is still banned, still suspended from Twitter. It's a week now. This is the New York Post. So now let's just put it to you in layman's terms now. If they're willing to do this to the New York Post, what are they willing to do to you? And if they're willing to do this to the New York Post to not let a bad story, whether it's true or not, come out about Biden, what are they willing to do after he becomes president? We watched a investigation unfold in front of our eyes for 3 years that Trump was a Russian agent and that he worked with Russia to collude to win the election, and nothing came of it. There was no solid, concrete evidence that this ever took place, and the FBI investigated it continuously. But here's 3 laptops with Hunter Biden's name all over it, making business deals across the globe while Joe Biden's in office. And no, we don't need to. We'll just throw this story out. This isn't important, guys.
We don't even need to say it. There's a bias at this point, and it's obvious, you know. Does Trump deserve criticism and to be scrutinized and everything? Should be
but not
into?
For being a Russian agent.
I'm just saying, in general, yes, right?
Yeah.
But so should Joe Biden, and so should every other fucking politician, regardless if they're Democrat and Republican. A tech company, a social media company should not be playing defense.
Yep.
Or the media should not be playing defense or running defense.
Yes.
For any politician. That's not what America's supposed to be.
Exactly. And Project Veritas, I mean, you guys are killing it. I really wish we could see more come of Project Veritas's work, because they do call out some crazy people. Yeah, but
then he gets discredited as, I mean, he does tend to lean right, but he gets discredited for being
he's
a
against the agenda. But,
so what? He's a right-wing guy.
But
he's
you
exposing,
have video proof.
Right. You know what I mean? He's exposing shit. Yes, he's not going after Republicans doing fucked up shit, which they do, but he's still exposing shit. So just take those things and, use them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, how can you get a guy that works at Google going on Project Veritas and coming out saying that when you search Donald Trump, they specifically show you negative stuff, and when you search Joe Biden, this is a video. Right. Go Project Veritas at Instagram and just watch the videos. It has nothing to do with Trump, persuading anyone. It has nothing to do with Biden persuading anyone, maybe in lobbyists, but these tech companies are straight up just biased, and they're altering reality. They're playing God.
Yeah. The internet, Google, Facebook, the tech, it's like a big apparatus that has the ability to brainwash people. Yeah. You don't need, watch. I suggest everybody watch this documentary called The Social Dilemma, right? And it goes into all that. And these social media companies, they can literally affect your mood. They they curate what you're seeing. They want it's based off of like negativity and what will get you to stay engaged. Things that are negative, things that you want to argue about, will want you to be engaged. And if Facebook tells you the sky is green enough times, eventually people will start fucking believing that. And it's just, it's not healthy. It's not the way human beings should be or have evolved to be. What do you got going on there? You got some paragraphs?
Yeah, I'll let you read.
Yeah. Moving on.
All right. So after this, I don't remember how they got into it, but they brought up Trump's taxes. And Trump I kind of agree now. Trump's taxes have to be garbage.
Yeah, bro, put him out. What the fuck?
Yeah. You don't get audited for 4 years.
He's got bullshit excuses as to why he hasn't put him out.
I caught a very good excuse. So it's not. Maybe it's an excuse. Yeah, I'll say it's an excuse. when the FBI investigated him for 3 years for Russian collusion and spent $48 million investigating him, you don't think they went through his taxes? If you're going to spend $48 million to investigate somebody, I'm sorry, your taxes are on the table. They got to be.
Right, but probably in the context of Russia. Like, is there any money coming in from Russia or stuff like that?
I'm sure, but still, I'm sure. Listen, this is the FBI. I'm sure they got loopholes after loopholes, and they hate Trump. We could admit that. We know that. To go deeper into his taxes, if that $48 million in 3 years of investigating Trump didn't bring up anything in his taxes, and this is what Trump said, he was investigated for 3 years, and they didn't find anything in his taxes. I'm kind of leaning towards Trump's taxes are garbage because he's still hiding them. But if they didn't find anything, my next question is where'd that $48 million go? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You rule number one, you follow the money. You got to follow all of Trump's money. You have to go through his taxes, I'd feel.
I think the tax argument is more of like a more moral argument from the Democrats' point of view. It's you, the normal average Joe, have to pay so much taxes, and here, the rich billionaire, he only pays $750. Yeah. However, I agree.
Oh, and he said he prepaid his taxes.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? It's just nonsense when it comes to taxes with Trump. But here's the thing: when it comes to the taxes, rich people can afford, like I was saying before, a team of financial people, lawyers, whatever, to figure out the loopholes in the law. But it's the politicians, the Democrats, Republicans, they're the ones who wrote the fucking laws to have loopholes and things like that in them. So, news. Yeah. Billionaire tries to skirt the system. Yeah, that's what they do. Yeah, we should fix it.
Look into Zuckerberg's taxes. Right. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure his are squeaky clean as well. Like, Jeff Bezos. Yeah.
Should we fix it? Yeah, I agree. We should. In principle, I agree. Maybe that's something that people should agree on. That's like I don't see Republican, Democrat people. I don't see anybody disagreeing on should we fix the tax code so billionaires can't rip us off.
Hold on, we have a question here. Do we want our tax information out there?
We're not running for president.
Yeah, well, that's Yeah,
if I was running for president, sure.
But yeah, I also have nothing to hide, so probably people would get a good kick out of my taxes anyway. So
yeah, if you're running for president, all your shit should be public, right? Police officers, all of their pay information and whatnot is public knowledge. So why the fuck a police officer is held to that standard, but the president shouldn't be?
How does Nancy Pelosi have all those millions in the bank account and she only makes $200,000 a year or whatever it is?
Yeah, right. That's something different. But I'm just saying, yes, your information should be made public when you're running for president. We need to make sure that the person running for president is not a fucking crook or corrupt or possibly compromised the way Biden is.
Yeah. So the next point was the North Korea. So we already covered that.
Yeah. Let's go into.
Then there was healthcare.
Fuck healthcare. That was a I went to go get coffee.
Yeah, so did I. Some of these questions.
I don't mean fuck healthcare. I just mean fuck that sector.
It's just you could already I could have wrote down when I woke up this morning what Trump was going to say on healthcare, and I could have wrote down what Biden was going to say on healthcare, and I was only going to be about a few words off.
Yeah, I want to go back to what we said in the beginning. I thought this debate was way better, and the moderator did a great job, but I was so disappointed in the topics. This is the same shit that they talked. The VP debate talked a lot about these things, and the first debate talked about them.
The debate commission and the moderator did not deter from this, but the debate commission did change the questions within the past week to take out the foreign policy question.
But you thought...
But they covered it. They got into it. The moderator did not, when it went into that, the moderator did not deter it. So
you thought that they changed the question because they didn't want the foreign policy question to reference the Hunter Biden emails, but they straight up brought it up themselves. The moderator.
I told you today, Trump would throw out the election before he didn't bring that up today.
What I wanted to go into was when they were talking about the child separation thing. And this is something I want to bring up because I've seen a lot of posts that make a good point, and they're aimed at QAnon, right? Which is obviously always looking at
my favorite subject.
Like pedophilia,
and child sex trafficking, child trafficking.
And it's like, how come QAnon doesn't care about this problem? There's 500 children that have been separated from their parents at the border. You know, people who came over the
I don't-
border. Let me make
go
my
on.
point. You know, 500 children been separated and they can't locate their parents. You know, it's a similar problem. Those kids could end up in some sort of fucking pedophilia ring or whatever. And I don't know. Like, I didn't look into if QAnon is covered in any way, but
So the bit of history that I've followed with QAnon, and actually something I found out from them is QAnon is actually a media term. There are no QAnons. There is Q, and then the rest are Anons. It's weird, I know, but yeah, that's how I felt when I heard that. I couldn't wait to share it though, but they have covered issues with MS-13, and a lot of child sex trafficking happens at the Mexican border, and they haven't covered this topic specifically. I never seen anything about it, but I would probably bet that they would believe that those 500 kids, how easy would it be for one of those to go missing?
It's something that deserves. And I thought this was a great part of the debate where they went back and forth pretty well.
Yeah.
To get
because they had both good points.
Yeah. So the 500 children, their parents can't be located, and the question was, how will you help them? Trump says that coyotes brought them. A coyote is like a person who gets paid to smuggle people across the border. Coyotes brought them in, and says that Obama built the cages and that he's working on a plan to reunite kids with their families. So, number one, he's right. You know, Obama and the Biden, they are the ones who built those facilities. I guess you could say, like, you know,
with the cages
and originally, and Biden then he responded saying that the kids came with their parents and they were separated at the border to discourage people coming over. This is where I disagree with you, and I said Biden's 100% right here. A child is not going to pay a coyote to bring him over. If I'm 5 fucking years old, what do I even know about?
No, and he made the good point too that I'm going to
mean?
stay in Mexico. This is illegal. Yeah.
A child doesn't pay the coyote to come over. It's the parents, and the parents come together with the kids, obviously, you know. And the policy has been to separate child and parent because it's a deterrent. You know, for more people are going to say, shit, if I get caught, I'm going to get separated from my kids. It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think people should be coming over, but it's the situation.
I'm really surprised.
Just put them all together.
I'm really surprised, though, that there's not, like, separate them, but, like, you put them in room A and you go in room B. You know what I mean? Like,
the fact that they
can't reunite them is
dumb.
Is dumb. I'm surprised that there's really not, like, listen, there's a lot of smart people out there that there's no plan for that. You know what I mean? I find that
logistics coordination.
Yeah, I find that very suspicious, though. Like, to go into the conspiracies of, like, child trafficking and stuff, like, which is all real. That's not a conspiracy, but the whole Q shit. You know, wow, the Giants are going to lose in the final seconds as usual. It's an amazing team we follow. But it is kind of fishy to see that these 500 kids can't be reunited. How come there's no plan for that? And it's fishy that it happened under the Obama administration, and it's fishy that it's happened under the Trump administration. I won't pin that on anyone, but that's weird.
It is. And when you want to talk about it was done under the Obama administration. Biden actually, you know, Trump brought that up. He was like, you know, this was being done. And I even shared a stat on the story the other day about how there was more ICE deportations by Obama.
At least 100,000 people more.
So, I mean, Biden said that they made mistakes to not fix the immigration back when he was VP, and that when he becomes president, he will make a path to citizenship for 11 million illegals.
I got it.
What do you think about this? I want to debate that idea.
Will he shoot? I think it'd be a much higher number than 11 million people.
I'm just saying, forget about what he says or what he doesn't say. There's a lot of illegal people, or, you know, people, undocumented people, whatever you want to call them in America. What do you think about the people who are here? Should we give them a chance to become a citizen or not?
So dreamers to me are the children who were born here, who are more American than they are, you know, from wherever they originated from. And that's where I do draw the line. I'm not a super right-wing, hardcore Republican. I do have plenty of Republican values. The dreamers, there does need something to be in place for them. They never asked for this, and there are a majority of them that are part of our active communities. The other side of it, though, is coming over here, we can't keep having people come over here illegally. Like at least under Trump, that illegal immigration is down and regular immigration, I don't know if it's up or not. You know what I'm saying? But I would like to see.
Can you look that up? Is legal immigration and
up?
What's like, is it up, down, under
Yeah,
Trump?
the statistic of it in 2020 or the past administration.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's fine. But I don't know. I would like to see a solid plan. But I feel like with both people, like, you're never going to see Trump, like, really open up the gates, whereas you're going to see Biden open up the floodgates. And it's, you know what I mean? Like, Trump's going to keep it closed enough where it's just kind of racist, and Biden's going to open it up enough where it's going to destroy the country.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about, like, opening up more immigration. I'm talking about the people who are already here, like people who have already came over the wall. Now they're
okay.
Now they're if you cross the border from Mexico into the United States, and now you are in New York,
so,
and you've been here for 5-6 years.
Okay, so I agree with something that Trump said. He goes, that catch and release program. He goes, you would get a court date, and it'd be 3-4 years from now. I would really like, we should look up this statistic to how many people come back to that court date, because the fact of the matter is,
it doesn't make you wouldn't. Why would you go?
A lot of people don't come back. Well, why are we giving 4 years to do a court date either? 24 hours.
Probably because the justice system is so backlogged.
Here we go. Google.
Legal immigration between 2016 and 2018 down 7%. So legal immigration is also down. So just immigration in general. Everybody's just scared of Trump.
Yeah,
being in charge in terms of immigration.
All right. Well,
let me make the point though that.
Yeah. What was your point for all this?
My idea. Okay. I think there's probably over 10 million illegal people in the country. My idea is they're already here. You know what I mean? We should just cut a deal, give them a chance to become citizens the right way. Just those 10 plus million people.
It's not going to stop there, though. It's never going to stop there.
I know. But I'm talking about if I was the king of the world with my magic wand, right?
Yeah.
Like, these people are already here to what is the other alternative, right? To bust them out? That's a logistical nightmare. There's nothing. First of all, you don't know where.
And you're not going to be able to get everyone.
We're talking about 10 plus million people. The military wouldn't be able to move that many people in one shot. If you could locate them, if you could get enough trucks to bust them out, or planes or whatever, it doesn't even make any fucking sense. They're here, and you're not going to be able to remove all of them. Right. So, in my opinion, what should be done is some sort of path to citizenship should be given to them. You're here, regardless of the situation, whatever it is. Let's give you a chance to do the right thing. But going forward, I agree that we should, have our border, and we should stop more people from coming in. This is I'm talking about a one-time deal.
I understand,
for people
but
who
that's
are here.
just it. There's never going to be a one-time deal.
But there should. That's my point.
I get you.
There should be, and then we should police the border and make sure. And and my other point that I wrote down here is that we should stop. We cause a lot of the situations in these shitty countries in South America that people want to flee from them, right? Like, we get involved in that country that I think is Ecuador, maybe. So, like, we get involved in these other countries' politics and destabilize them. The CIA, all the shit that we watch on Narcos. Like, we cause a lot of bad situations in countries, which creates poverty, and then creates violence. People want to flee from those countries to come here. Let's leave these people alone. Leave these countries alone. Let them be self-determined. Why the fuck do we have to get involved in all that shit? If we weren't there destabilizing every South American country's government, maybe their people wouldn't be trying to flee. Flee from them all the time.
No, it's a very good point.
That was the other point I wrote
But
down.
it'll definitely never be a one-time deal. Impossible.
Oh man, what do you want to go on to next?
Let me pull up my notes. So the next thing, there was the healthcare that I had. Then
Giants lost, by the way, right?
Yep, by one.
Awesome.
By one.
Still right in the thick of the NFC East.
Yeah, we're amazing. We're an amazing team. Hold on. Will Biden healthcare plan? Okay, so they went into race in America. They brought up the race question. And so the one thing that kept catching me off guard is that Biden doesn't want any, like, prison sentence for drug addicts. He just wants this treatment program and this rehab. And I don't know how you're going to force, people who are so far gone on drugs that are committing crimes to just, how are you going to lock them? if you lock them in a rehab or if you lock them in prison, they're still kind of locked up. Or it kind of just kept making it sound that like drug addicts are going to get to run free. You know what I mean?
Well, he said that we should be putting them into treatment programs, not into jail. I mean, I agree. Well, if you are going to capture somebody and throw them in a building, why should we?
It's still jail though. But
they weren't talking about specifically drug dealers or crime or anything. They were talking about people that get like arrested for. Say like you're a crackhead and you're out in the street.
Like,
and you're on
like Hunter Biden.
Crack, yeah.
And
you're on crack in the street, and now you get arrested for having crack on you. But you weren't really...
Right.
The only crime you were committing was doing a drug.
Right. But I think that's going to include much more ridiculous shit in it. Like what you're saying, the bare bones of it is very agreeable. You got caught in the streets with crack, and instead of being sent to jail, you get sent to a rehab. But I have a funny feeling that it's also going to include that you stole a car, but you were high on crack and heroin.
That's different, though. You committed a crime.
But I think like Biden still wants you. Now, I don't know. It's something that we need to look up and do research on. But I feel like it's something that like Biden's going to be like, oh, no, we'll just let him go to rehab instead, and not pay for his consequences of stealing a car.
Mm-hmm. Look, another problem with the reason why there's so many people in jail is because drugs are illegal.
Yeah.
If we just made them legal, there wouldn't be that many
people.
I
mean, we can't make them all legal.
You could make some of them legal, and that would help. If you made marijuana and other drug, some other recreational drugs legal, there'd be no need for drug dealers and the crime element of it. A business, a reputable business, would start doing things like they do in some of the states that marijuana is legal.
Yeah.
In Colorado.
But I mean, where do you draw the line though? Like, can we start buying painkillers over the over the counter?
It's a conversation to be had. But whatever we're doing now ain't fucking working. So some sort of drastic change needs to happen. That's a drastic change. Is it the right thing? I don't know.
Just that war on drugs that we've been winning all these years, guys.
We've been losing. If anything, the cartels are more powerful than they are now. I watch videos all the time of the cartels. They have these convoys of 50 fucking pickup trucks long with mounted machine guns, like we use in Call of Duty. Are we winning this fucking war? Like they're.
Somebody brought up a great question because I know the exact videos you're talking about, and they were like, listen, if there's a war on drugs and we're actively trying to take down the cartels, where are they getting this type of money? The Taliban doesn't even have this type of money.
Well, there's so much money in coke and things like that.
But if we're actively in a war on drugs,
I see what you mean.
How are you affording this? Because it looks like we're really losing.
I see what you mean. Like if we're able to pound the Taliban or whoever into or ISIS.
Trump really decimated. I won't say he eliminated. Not everybody's going to agree with that, but like Trump really knocked ISIS down to like 1% of what it was. We can't do this to the cartel because they're involved.
Right, yeah. There's not as much money to be made with ISIS and the Taliban as there is with the cartel.
Yeah, the Taliban and ISIS actually just like, fuck America, where they're like, fuck America, but let's make some money together.
It's kind of related, but a little bit unrelated. In Afghanistan, there was opium fields. And
American soldiers were protecting them.
Had to actually protect them because if they didn't, that would disrupt the opium trade there and force the people into further poverty, which they would destabilize the region. I mean, my God. So we're fighting a war against drugs, but then on the other end of the world, we're protecting a field where we grow drugs because it's
to make it here to America to kill American citizens. Yeah, because I will tell you the exact reason why. Because someone in power is making money, and that's why we did that. Let's move on.
Yeah. One other thing I highlighted here, Trump hit Biden on the 94 crime bill relentlessly.
Yes, and also Trump's greatest weapon this entire debate was you had 8 years to do this. Why did and as childish as it is coming from Trump, it is a solid point. It is a solid because there's two sides to this. You had 8 years to do it. Yeah, but when so Biden would always respond with, but when I'm president. So you have a choice. You didn't do anything for 8 years, or Obama was a shitty president. You decide, Joe. You decide. Was it that you couldn't get anything done because President Obama at the time wouldn't allow you to, or were you not trying hard enough? You have to make a decision. Is there any other option?
No.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I rest my case. Get out of here.
Biden said on the bill in the 80s regarding drugs, they were mistakes.
Yes.
Those bills. And
Do you think Trump could say he made a mistake about anything?
No.
Yeah.
That's one thing I will give Biden credit for in this debate. He was way more humble than Trump was, right? And he had at least 2 or 3 instances
Doesn't take
look,
much.
I made a mistake back then, or our position back then was a mistake, and those I highlighted all those instances where he did because that stood out to me.
Yeah.
Where, listen, I think the guy probably is corrupt, right? But at least he's saying, why can we never say, listen, back then was a different time, and now that I look back on it with new knowledge, it was a mistake, or I was wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
But every person in the world makes a mistake or grows or whatever as they get older. I do agree with at the same time, though. You've been in fucking politics for 47 years.
Yeah. Why should we believe you're going to do it now?
Yeah. All of a sudden now, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you've had your come to Jesus moment. Maybe, but I don't.
Listen,
I doubt it.
We all sat around the dining room table with family and stuff and learned from a young age that politicians are crooked and that politicians don't keep their promises. Why now after 47 years is it going to be different? If you had a contractor working on your house for 47 years and nothing ever got done, why would you invest 4 more years in them?
That's why, man, fuck the 2-party system, dude. It hasn't done jack shit for us in forever. And as soon as someone brings up an alternative like that Unity Party thing I was mentioning about, which I want to talk about for a minute.
Another good one.
This goes
Twitter.
into censorship and social media, and a couple of professors and other just smart, important people came up with this idea called the Unity Party. And this was the beginning. It was a website, Twitter accounts, and the idea behind the Unity Party was this is going to be an actual political party where they draft a Republican and they draft a Democrat to run for president together, right? And you work out your differences, right? Unity. Twitter and the social media companies straight up banned the account for Unity 2020, and I think the website got taken down for no reason.
Yep.
No explanation, no reason whatsoever. All right, if you were the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan and you were saying a whole bunch of racist shit, I get it.
Yeah.
Maybe you should be banned, but you're a you
have an idea.
You have an idea. A bunch of college professors, and you come up with an idea for a new political party that calls for unity between the two sides, and your account gets banned for that.
Yeah, shady business, censorship, communism.
That's why that shit is a slippery slope.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And listen, let the Ku Klux Klan guy say his racist shit. Yeah. I'm gonna see him say, "Wow, that guy's a piece of shit."
There was an article on Fox yesterday that talked about these 5 people still have Twitter accounts, but the New York Post got banned. And it was like known terrorists, known, people who hate America, known corrupt individuals, known ex-murderers and stuff, where their Twitter is perfectly safe, but this Unity project is banned. This is like our whole deal. Like, isn't that suspicious to you? Like, we could come together on a lot of things. Like this podcast, we haven't really disagreed on a huge amount of stuff. Why are our ideas like that being suppressed? Why is
that being banned? That's not bad in any way. Let's work together and have more unity in a time where there's nothing but division. How the fuck is that something to be banned?
And I texted you it when you sent me it. United. Once we're united, the establishment fails. As long as we're divided, the establishment gets to run free.
I wanted to bring up another point too that I wrote here earlier in the week. QAnon is like all banned and whatnot now. Joe Rogan made up the point, why not ban flat earthers too?
Yes.
From social media. Like, where do you draw the line? If you're going to ban QAnon, why? Because they have a political conspiracy? What about, you're banning them because it's a conspiracy and it's fake news. So is fucking the Flat Earth Society.
There's satanic groups on Twitter.
But the Flat Earth Society is not banned. So, they're cherry picking things that they don't like and then they're banning them.
Yeah.
And
they're playing as the guy that on Project Veritas, as the guy they were, secretly interviewing, I guess, secretly recording. He said they're just straight up playing God and choosing what you get to see.
And who the fuck are they? We didn't elect Mark Zuckerberg to choose to do that.
I said this when remember when they had that white coat summit in Washington and they came out about hydroxychloroquine or whatever?
Our live video ended.
Okay, well,
I could bring it back. What do you think? Want me to bring it
We
back,
had about
or-
5 or 6 people, so why not?
Yeah, let's bring it back.
But anyway,
Let's bring it back. Go ahead, keep going, and I'll work on bringing it back.
so
Here.
I said this when Facebook started removing all those posts. I said, Facebook, you are a social media company. Yes, you're big and powerful, but all these people went to college to get medical degrees to be experts on this. Where do you stand on this planet as a social media company, picking and choosing what doctors can release and what they can't say? You're not a medical practitioner. You're not a medical expert. You're a social media company.
Right.
These people got doctorates, not you.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
And once you start curating things and choosing what you want to see, it'll never end.
No.
You know, they might, dude. As stupid as this is gonna sound, in the future, like if they're a fucking Eagles fan, you might never see any Giant shit on Twitter. Like that's how.
Yeah.
That's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
You just keep falling down.
I like driving BMWs, and you never see another Ford or a Chevy commercial
Right.
again.
Ever again. Yeah.
This is so. I was reading a quote somewhere that said like this is like digital book burning. Remember, like when the Nazis would burn the books because they didn't want you to learn what was in them.
Yes.
They're.
Well, I don't remember it, but I know what you're talking about.
Sorry, you know what I'm talking about. This is exactly the same thing where it's digital book burning. We don't want this topic to be able to be released. We don't want this idea out there in the world, and we're going to pick and choose which ideas get to be sent out there.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. So, I mean, I'm trying to bring up the live here again, but as usual, technology is completely
Failed
failing.
us.
Yeah, so I'm gonna close this program, and you know what we need to do, bro? We need to remember the old break shit store. We need to open one of those.
They're real. They're real. I found out that they're real.
Back in the day, me and the captain had the idea of opening up a break shit store. So you could just go to this store and pay a fee.
And we'll give you
they give you an hour.
Yeah,
and,
old printers, glasses, whatever you want, and we'll give you, a crowbar and a baseball bat, and you just break shit.
And you have at it.
And I'm pretty sure there's places like that, man. My goal was always to be so rich that whenever a computer would crap out on me, I'd just throw it out and just boot up another one.
Hey, well, we kind of recently got to do something like that when we had your old TV, which crapped out, and we shot the fuck out of it with 22s.
Yeah, well, that was after a long weekend. All I wanted to do was lay down and watch Netflix, and now it's in a million pieces, sitting in a dumpster somewhere.
Yep. Let's see if this works now. I doubt it.
If it doesn't, we'll start wrapping it up.
Let's see.
What do we got left here? Where do we take?
There we go.
Skipped over.
All right. We're back on the live.
So we talked, if
Sorry
you want,
about that if you guys were watching on the live before, but the live cuts out for an hour, after an hour. So it was an hour, it cut out. It took me like 2 or 3 minutes to get it going again because, technology sucks. So what were we saying before?
We kind of shit on Facebook a little bit and how it's dangerous that they are censoring us and all that, and that it's like digital book burning. But I was going to get back into... So if you want to figure out what we were talking about, that's going to be bonus content on the YouTube page.
Yeah.
Make sure you watch.
Although this was live, from the get-go to now, the entire thing will be posted. I'm going to try and get it up by tomorrow, so you could listen to it the normal way or watch it the normal way.
At Two Doom Men at YouTube.
Yeah. So go ahead. Go on to the next thing you want to talk about.
So where were we in the debate? Healthcare we skipped. Drug addicts get to run free. I think they went into climate. Yeah, you want to start off with that? I don't have too many notes. Towards the end, you started really just ripping through the notes.
I've said before that I want to talk more about climate change on this podcast, but they talked about climate change in the past 2 debates.
Yeah.
There was, like I said before, there was the VP debate and there was the presidential debate, and they talked about it in both of those, but they could have talked about other shit, you know what I mean? But this is what they talked about, so I guess this is what we're going to talk about. This made me laugh. When they asked Trump about climate change, he said, we have the Trillion Trees program. Mr. Google over there, can you look up what the fuck the Trillion Trees program? Sounds like a great way to get high, but I never heard of such a thing before.
There was 2 big points in there, and Trump said something that you actually said like a week ago, that like solar is just not there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And isn't California having a lot of problems with all its rolling blackouts because they're forcing too much of this idea into their state as well?
They are.
You know what I mean? If we're not there, we're not there. And then there was a funny line that is like, this guy believes windmills cause cancer. I don't know what these windmills do and why they're so bad. That's something I'm very uneducated on.
That was Biden said. This guy believes windmills cause cancer.
I had a good chuckle out of that.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. What did my notes say?
Trillion trees.
What is the Trillion Trees program?
Trillion Trees is a global program that aims to plant 1 trillion trees worldwide. The U.S.
Could have told you that from the name.
The U.S. just joined, and the U.S.
Okay.
aims to plant
So Trump,
at least 855 million trees.
who joined? If that's the case, then Trump joined a pro-green
green program.
program. You know, that's a good thing, I guess. There's not, you know, there's trees are good.
Yeah.
Trees are good.
As far as I'm concerned, we're doing all right.
So this is something we talked about on one of our last episodes, and Trump just echoed Mike Pence's statements that our numbers are good in terms of carbon emissions in the United States. And Trump
And that's a very important fact.
was more direct, and he said that Russia and India, the environment is filthy, like in terms of air
What
pollution
I've been saying.
and whatnot, and that the Paris Accord, the United States has to pay trillions of dollars at the get-go, while China does not really have to pay into the Paris Accord until 2030, and Russia is held to way lower standards.
Yeah, they almost reset.
And that's why he took us out. And you know what? He's right.
It's
not a good deal.
Look, on paper, the Paris Accord could probably do very well for the world, but I'm sorry, it is a global money-making scheme, and it comes out of our taxes, people. Mm-hmm. I said this last time, it's NATO for the Green Deal. Nobody's going to put in as much as we have to, and we are not going to fix this planet by getting less in our paycheck. Why? No, I understand why, but nothing's going to be fixed if no one else in the world has to pay their fair share, and we have to pay double, triple, quadruple.
American taxpayers are going to foot the bill. And let me make this point. I just thought of now. When Biden had his chance to talk on this, he said that we don't have time, and that in 8 to 10 years it'll be too late to reverse the climate change. Okay, I agree. Maybe that's the case, but if it really is going to be 8 to 10 years, then shouldn't we be forcing China, Russia, India to really step their game up right now? Because we only have 8 to 10 years. So what the fuck? If Biden, you want to defend the Paris, then scientifically, in fact, we pollute way less than those countries do. So if we really have only 8 to 10 years and we pollute less in America, that's not going to make any difference on climate change whatsoever. We have to force those countries that are really doing the polluting to also lower their amount tremendously.
This is what I've been screaming about since 2016. And China doesn't have to chip in until 2020. I thought we only had
2030. We only have 8 to 10 years. That's 10
so
years
after
from now.
After the deadline of what we have left on this planet before we can't control it anymore, that's when China gets to step up.
Yeah, at the deadline date, that doesn't make any sense.
Now.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
I've said this hundreds of times. I believe in climate change, but I will never support anything unless everybody. Listen, if America has to do something, fine, but Russia, China, and India better damn well be doing the exact same thing.
Then how do you get them to do it? I don't know. Sanction them. Fucking.
If
you don't
go over there, as Biden would say, and I'm gonna make them do it, and we're American, and you're sitting around your dining room table.
Look, sitting around your dining room table. I don't think he's gonna do that, but he's right. You have to use our leverage, right, as the most powerful country in the world to get them to do it. Listen, we can monitor that, first of all. We have NASA. They're great at monitoring scientific, data about the Earth and where pollution is coming from and whatnot. So we can keep, track of what they're doing. You got to use your leverage, man. If you don't we got to go with them, give them an ultimatum. If you don't lower your carbon emissions by this date, we're going to put, tremendous financial sanctions on you, or threaten them maybe with military force. If this is such a threat to the Earth, right? Shouldn't every means be on? If you're going to make it out to be the end of, literally, the end of the world, maybe we should use the military for good, in my opinion, right? And force them, look, if you don't fucking fix your polluting, we're going to take military action against you and remove your regime and put in a regime that will. That sounds really communist, but I mean, if that's the end of the world.
Yeah. If it's the end of the world, If this is so important that the world is going to end,
And I agree, it is important, and the
Yeah.
world might end because we're fucking up the environment.
wouldn't it be in China's best interest to get involved now? Wouldn't it be in India and Russia's best in? So in this game plan of the Paris Accord, where China doesn't have to chip in until 2030, if the world is going to end in 10 years, why isn't China getting into the game sooner?
You know,
Wouldn't it behoove them to fucking
yeah,
get involved?
I agree. How about this? You want to get real deep here into like 4D chess? How about if maybe they don't really give a fuck because they know that
Because it's a money-making
no,
scheme, and that money's going to go right into
China,
their pockets.
China, India are playing 4D chess. They know climate change is going to really damage the United States. We got a lot more bad hurricanes. California's on fire. Like the weather patterns seem to be really affecting us. So it's almost as if like, whatever, let America get destroyed by climate change, and we'll profit from that in the future. And so what if?
But they're only going to have 10 more years to profit.
I know, but I'm saying maybe in their minds in China, they're using this almost as like climate change as a weapon against us.
Yeah, no, I can believe that.
where-
It benefits them to hurt us like that. Yeah,
Right.
I
You know
agree.
what I mean?
But
Do you think President Xi cares if a couple
But he
100 million
should-
people die?
but
He's actively killing people.
Yeah, he should care though that China only has 10 years left. Then, if the world, because here's the way I look at it: if the world's going to end in 10 years, then China should get in the game now. But if China can start doing something in 10 years, then that means the world's not going to end in
Right,
10 years,
yeah.
and you're giving me a lie.
Yeah, the math doesn't add up. I agree with you, man. I was just thinking in terms of like a
Yeah.
4D chess conspiracy.
Yeah, no, I
theory.
agree.
Maybe they
'cause
want climate change to destroy.
Dude, people
parts of the world.
there's people in little cubicles right now thinking up evil shit just like that. And you probably right now some Chinese consulate is listening to us and they're like, "Listen,
Holy
we got
shit,
a new
that's
idea."
a great idea. Sorry.
Yeah. Let California burn all the way to Vegas.
Yeah. What else? That was the end of my notes. Climate
Yeah,
change.
I started so on climate change.
What was the last?
Oh wait,
what was
so the
last
big
portion?
thing about climate change, Trump's definitely not going to let him drop this. Joe Biden said he would over time shut down the oil industry. That's a big statement because those oil industries probably paid Joe Biden's campaign a lot of money.
Probably. I mean, they probably played Trump. A lot
Well,
of money
just
too,
to,
but
yeah, of course. Any politician,
Yeah.
oil is
Those
involved in.
companies, man, they pay both sides because no matter what,
No,
they're going to
of course, obviously. But to say you're going to shut down the oil industry, that's a, as far as I'm concerned, that's a damning sentence. You signed your death warrant. That's a piss poor move to make. Just to be super woke and left wing.
How powerful is that lobby, though?
I'm
don't
going
know.
to say extremely
Yeah?
powerful. Everybody
Yeah,
involved.
yeah.
It's the Prince of
True.
Dubai and shit like that. You know
you're
what I
right.
mean?
Yeah, but not even them.
These
but,
oil companies are owned by Arabic royal families.
but I think there's also, when it comes to that's why fracking has been made such a big deal.
Well,
Not
that's
because-
why fracking helps us too.
Right, but I'm saying fracking has been made into such a hot topic issue because a lot of people work for the fracking industry
Right.
in
Amer-
Pennsylvania
yeah, in
or
America, yeah.
whatever, and those people are going to vote to protect their job.
Yeah.
A fracker, if I'm a guy who crushes rock to make oil, I don't give a fuck about climate change.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of these politicians are just thinking about, am I going to win or not? You know, and that's why maybe fracking specifically
Yeah.
has been such a hot
And-
button issue.
And the best is Joe Biden had the balls to say, Trump said, "Oh, we have you on video of saying you're going to end fracking, you're going to end fracking, you're going to end fracking." And then you got the nominee and you were in Pennsylvania and you said, and Joe Biden said, play the clip. I've seen that clip dozens of times, Joe. Like,
Well, I was saying to you at one of Trump's recent rallies in possibly Pennsylvania,
yeah.
he played the actual clip. So I
Yeah.
mean, he already did it. I
I-
guess Biden maybe didn't.
I
know
mean,
that.
this is like, how crazy are you, Joe? Like, I personally know this video's out there claiming exactly what Trump is saying. Like, is that not you? Are you multiple lizard people? Like, it just, to be somewhere on camera and say something and then however many months or years later to deny it is just beyond me.
Mhm.
Like, there's a picture of me and you out there. Oh no, that's not me in that picture. No,
Right,
that's
yeah.
you. No, that's not
That's-
me in that picture.
Dude, that's
Just-
where we're at nowadays, bro.
Yeah.
You could have a video evidence of something, and they'll just deny it.
Yeah,
You know, Ghislaine Maxwell,
Yeah.
right? Her disposition came out today. I read a lot of it, And I
The
mean,
big nothing burger.
everyone fucking knows that Epstein molested children, was involved in a pedophilia ring. It's obvious now,
Yeah.
right? And I read most of the disposition. It was 400 some pages. It was hard to read the whole thing, but the whole thing, like he said, is a nothing burger.
Yeah.
All she does is
I don't know.
every time a question was asked of her, did you see Epstein with a person under 18, or did you help facilitate him getting a person under 18? No knowledge of this, no knowledge of that. I didn't know if any of those kids were in the house and that. I mean, probably like 1,000 iterations of the questions was asked to her, and she denied everything.
Yeah.
And it's disappointing. I mean, maybe there's more. I couldn't read the entire
Yeah.
thing, but it's disappointing because you're expecting.
Yeah,
her
you're
to-
expecting
her to
the
rat
smoking
out
gun.
smoking
yeah.
gun that
Here's
she's gonna-
Bill Clinton with a
Right.
child. Yeah.
And there was a lot of shit redacted too.
Yeah.
And
it's funny because all over the Q pages and stuff, they're like, this redaction right here, this says Clinton.
no, it doesn't. How do you know? How do you know that?
There,
I mean, that's
there
a
was a
stretch.
code from fucking the footnotes, and they
It's gonna take.
yeah.
Weeks. It's gonna take weeks for like a full.
I
dissection of
I
that
don't
document,
believe
but-
it either. But so we're getting to the end now, and
Yeah, I missed the entire end of the last question.
yeah, it was. I mean, but it was the climate change, and unfortunately, like we said earlier, that a lot of this was just Republican and democratically scripted questions and answers. And when, I stepped out of the room on healthcare because I knew the deal. You stepped out of the
I knew,
room
yeah.
because of climate change. We knew the deal. So the final question was, it's your inauguration day. What would you be saying to people who didn't vote for you now and stuff like that? And this, unfortunately, too, was... At least Trump didn't give his normal little rhetoric of, are you better 4 years ago than today than you were 4 years ago? I don't think he mentioned that. But I kind of listened in real time to what Trump said and then took notes on what Biden said, so I kind of fucked us on that one. But
It's all right.
so Trump's basic thing was that he is... Yep, just cops beating people. There's good old Billy de Blasio.
I was
Real champion of the fucking people.
Sorry, we have the news on now in the background, and it said that New York City is suing the Trump administration for calling the city an anarchist city. Is that what that said? You watching that? It said that they're going to sue the Trump administration for calling New York City an anarchist city. So we're going to sue over name calling.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, Bill. You got your priorities in order, Bill.
Yep. Good luck
Sorry.
spending that money on lawyers and stuff. Anyway, so Trump was saying that when the economy comes back, that the success will unify us. So he's trying to say, banking on how the economy is going to unfold under him being the president. Joe Biden went right straight down the old Joe Biden path. Didn't give us really anything we didn't know. With, this is a vote of the character of our nation. He's trying to say how Trump's character is bad and his character somehow is better than him. And they really just, they fell flat on, it was such a scripted answer. Nobody, from a question like that, what would you say to the person who didn't vote you? We didn't learn nothing new.
Yeah.
They didn't sway, in that question, they didn't sway us. This time around, though, there might have been less people on the fence now. Maybe like 1% of the people who were on the fence might have found a side.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like after the first debate, nobody gained any new voters.
That's what you mean. People probably learned more from this
Yes.
debate.
Because
That last question, though, man, Mike Pence, out of everybody, knocked it out of
Yeah.
the park, I'd say, compared to
Yeah.
them. But I see what you mean. Like,
Biden went down the path of my character's better than Trump's character, and Trump went down the path of I'm going to bring back the economy. We're all going to be successful, and we're all going to make money together.
if you actually paid attention to the rest of the debate, though, you might have learned something.
Yeah,
I agree.
no, I would
know?
think you definitely would. It was a much better debate. So, now that we're towards the end of the podcast and the end of the debate and stuff like that, who do you think won?
I'm asking you first. Who do you think?
I honestly, I think Trump won just because Biden had a few good points, and I even pointed out while we were watching it that Biden had a few good points. But the smoking, the real powerhouse, the big fucking gun that Trump had was, you had 8 years as vice president to do this. Why didn't you do it? And Trump could have almost tied that into every answer Joe Biden gave. And it's the truth. Politicians have always lied to us. I originally voted for Trump because he wasn't the politician. He wasn't establishment. Despite the fact that I have not trusted Hillary Clinton longer than I have supported Trump. I've disliked her for way longer than I've supported Trump. I didn't trust her. But what drew me to Trump originally was we have an outsider here. Maybe he could make a change.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he made a few changes. Do I think he made things better? 50-50 on that. You know what I mean? There's definitely some shit he fucked up, and it's definitely been a roller coaster under him. But I feel like he won this because, Joe, you didn't do anything for 47 years. I'm sorry. That's the bottom line. Like, come out and say Obama was a shitty president and you're going to do better, and then maybe I'll have a little bit more faith in you. But bottom line is you almost had 5 full decades to make these changes. And 8 of those years and almost an entire decade of those years, you could have made every single one of those changes that you wanted to. And every single one of those changes that you want to make as president, Obama's in favor of. So what the fuck was going on while you guys were in the White House for 8 years with the House and the Senate? What the fuck happened?
Fair enough. I'm honestly going to say that it was a tie.
Yeah.
And
I could see how you could agree with that. That's agreeable.
It was a tie in terms of the debate, like who won the debate. I felt like they both made good points. Everything you said is right.
Yeah.
But on the same time, like if I was taking score, I had more things highlighted of Biden making good points than I did of Trump. So I'd say it was a tie, but in reality, we're the loser again. The American, like after the first debate, we were more of a loser then because we didn't hear nothing. You might have actually learned something today, but again, we are the loser of this debate because even if this debate was better and you might have learned something, like it's all bullshit. I'm way too cynical of both of these old white guys that they're gonna actually do anything substantial to fix the fucking million problems we have. I'm just too cynical, dude. Yeah. Like no matter like I'm just Tyrion Lannister, just you know I'm just drinking wine over here, and I don't believe it. I was thinking about Tyrion Lannister during this because when he met Daenerys and she was put off as this savior, right? And he was like, he was like, I've seen this before. And you know what? And he eventually ended up believing in her. And what happened? She ended up being the same as everybody else.
Yeah. It's
for some reason that came to mind with me during this whole thing.
So I could agree with you that I could see how point-wise it could be a tie. Something that was big, maybe not. 50 Cent was big this week because he doesn't like Biden's tax plan. But a few weeks ago, Ice Cube, Ice Cube met with the Democratic Party and the GOP. Maybe Trump. I don't know who he met with, but he wants change for the black community, and rightfully so. And he's a very big advocate for that, and he's an independent. He said on CNN, he's like, I'm an independent. He's a free thinker. He doesn't. And the CNN interview was a real hit piece on him, just trying to be like, but how can you trust Trump? I don't trust Trump. I trust action. Mm-hmm. And, Biden's been in office for 47 years, and their response to, changes in the black community will come after the election. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. When I'm scot-free and you can't hold me accountable anymore, then we'll work on it. The Trump administration made changes.
You know what that also sounds like to me when they said that we'll talk about it after the election. That almost sounds like they're trying to hold black people ransom. Like
the same thing.
No, only if you vote for us are we going to do this. But if you don't, then it's never going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, we'll get to it if we win.
Yeah, the same thing with why Biden never put out a Supreme Court shortlist. Just the same reason why Joe Biden won't admit to he's planning on packing the Supreme Court if ACB gets fucking voted in. It's because the whole packing of the court will do bad in the polls, but we'll let you know after the election. So you almost have to blindly. They want blind allegiancy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yes,
that's
blind allegiance.
You blindly follow me, and maybe I'll do what
Yeah.
you ask for me.
Right.
How can you ask that of the American people?
Yeah.
This isn't what Ice Cube was going after is an important topic where there needs to be change.
And
maybe you'll get it.
look, and Ice Cube, he don't give a fuck about the politics behind it or who's in charge or that game. He just wants to help people.
And
the same thing with North Korea. Like, I just don't want a fucking war. I don't care how we get there. If I'm Ice Cube, I just want the Black American situation to get better. I don't care how we get there. Who does it? Who's going to take the credit for it? Who gives a fuck? Right? I just want a normal black guy's life to be a lot better. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what Ice Cube's goal is, and he got destroyed for it.
And where did he get the answers he was looking for? The Republicans. So I mean,
But-
or Trump's administration. But we still have to see. We still have to see if anything comes of that.
We still have to see. And I'm not gonna. I'm too cynical. I'm not gonna bill Trump and the Republicans as the
No.
savior. I
No.
saved all the black people,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or king of the blacks, right?
Abraham
what
Lincoln.
Peter Griffin was. Right? It could be a play because they want to win over some of the vote before the election.
Yeah.
And, it was smart. You know what? And at the end of the day, I don't care if that's what they're trying to do because all I give a fuck about is the
end
result.
result, yeah.
That it actually helps people in some way. And that's where we're at. Would I like for things in politics to be, sunshine and rainbows? Yeah. But it ain't. So we have to go through this shitty process to get shit done.
I believe it. Yeah.
That's it.
All right. So this was our first Instagram Live experience. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We're two listeners. It is a bit late. It's after midnight.
People tuned in. Is it really after midnight?
Yeah, it's
Holy
after
shit.
midnight.
People tuned in
so.
and out. Thanks for nothing.
Yeah. We had a great time. That was the last presidential debate. The next time you guys are going to see us live, we'll be doing the coverage of the election on election night. And God help us all.
Yeah.
Any final words,
Nothing
Mr.
much, man. That was a little frustrating technical difficulties, but we did it. Good job.
All right, we knocked this one out and we're done. All right, everybody, Doom Nation, thank you for listening. We love you guys. The 1,000 followers, it's awesome. We need another 1,000 more. We want to hit that 1,000 mark on the YouTube subscribers. So at 2 Doom Men at YouTube, make sure you subscribe. We'll get ready for the spiel. As always, you can listen to us on Apple iTunes, Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, Amazon Music, and you can find us at 2 Doom Men _podcast on Instagram and at 2 Doom Men on Facebook, YouTube, and where else?
Twitter.
There we go. And we also have our link tree, and
Yeah.
we post that online all the time. So
Follow
you
that.
can
It's
definitely
yeah,
follow
right.
us. Doom Nation, leave us some comments. What did you think of this episode? We'd love to hear from you guys. And we'll see you guys again next week for our spooky Halloween episode.
Yeah, that should be fun. That's not going to be no politics, hopefully. We're just going to have a good time.
Off-topic episode. This was too difficult.
Yeah. All right. Goodbye.
Adios.